villain. I think not, hero. My blade will destroy you in a single strike. My blade was made from ore, found in the furthest, most forsaken realms. It was then bathed in hot lava for millennia, and forged under a full moon, hammered into perfection by dwarven blacksmiths with autism, so you know it's good. My blade was blessed by dark elf priests, high on DMT. It is imbued with every enchantment known to man. Every single one. My blade smells of lilacs. My blade possesses a 100% chance of decapitating its foes. It has been struck by lightning 1,000 times. Statistically impossible. Much like your chances of surviving this encounter, which to clarify is 0. My blade has been greased in gnome semen, so you know it's good. Once, my blade merely grazed the skin of a mighty dragon. The beast perished instantly, much like your mother when she first saw your face. Do you hear me, you f***ing cretin? My blade will tear you asunder. You will respect my blade. What? But my blade, my enchantments.
See, the problem with blades like yours is they finish the job too quick. My blade will rend you to a fine paste in 1,000,000 strikes. Wait, is that a f***ing toothpick?
So, if there's someone to point the finger at, it would be his brother! Oh my God! Oh my God, nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look!
Hello, hello, everybody. How are we doing this fine, fabulous, fantastic Thursday, I think it is. I think it's a Thursday. I think, and therefore, it probably is. Anyway, I hope everybody... You know what? Hold on. I can tell already. I gotta go to sounds, I gotta go to recording, I gotta go to my microphone, I gotta go to properties, I gotta go to levels. Properties. Levels. Yep. I knew it. I fucking knew it. Alright, testing. Oh, much fucking better. In fact, we can actually lower that just a little bit. Cool beans. I could tell my... Look, I can always tell when my microphone isn't working right and Windows has lowered the levels because my character's mouth flaps, like, don't work right. So that's... It is Thursday already. It is indeed Thursday already. That is a little bit high on the background music. Listen, we like the Halloween... It's spooky months officially, by the way, everybody. So new background music. Hopefully, if it content IDs me, I'll have to switch back to the other music. But, I think this will be alright. Anywho, I hope we are all doing well. We have a number of things to be reacting to today. Including, we're gonna start out with some legal some of that legally minded. Denims and Reddit in trouble fast facts posted 3 hours ago. So, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I was planning on doing a, like, core document reading on exactly what Legal Mindset covers here. The problem is, it is so dense and dumb of an argument that it's gonna be very hard to read through and not fucking, like, lose my shit. Because they make an argument of entrapment quite a bit in this document, and they cite so much fucking like, there's so many citations in it, it's so fucking annoying. So, I don't know that I'm actually gonna read through that one. I might read through some of the other ones after this, but that one's just gonna be a slog. Frank, welcome. By the way, we do need to say hi to all the people who've been trickling on in. Magma Fox, JP Ravenfire, McSkittles, Akakun, Francis Karma, Pazzle, That's a name. Or, no, Pazzy, I'm so sorry. And J-Rock's Elite, and, Shrike. We new boot goofin'? I mean, I guess, I'm not sure what that means. Meteoric also welcome. But yeah, we have, a number of things. I'm gonna go over real quick. We're gonna go over the denim stuff. We're gonna go over, a lawyer explaining why why James Comey was indicted. For those who don't know, James Comey was the, he was the FBI director, I believe, for, I think, part Trump administration, part Biden. I have to remember. I have to look it up again. Oh, and thank you for being a Jarl for 8 months. Yet another month of EVA greatness. Look up New Boot Goofin'. It's a quick vid. A new boot goofin'. Okay. Am I gonna be scared? Is this gonna scare me? We're gonna find out. Okay, new boot goofin'. Welcome, Sly Maverick. Oh, wait, wait a minute, what the fuck? This is... Okay, you know what? Look, this is very interesting. Okay. Is this it? It's 4 minutes? The Archcast. Oh, hello. Hippity hoppity. Denims will be people's property after paying... Holy crap, oh my god. The Archcast for, is that... NOK, is that Kroner? I think that's Kroner. I'm not sure, though. Norwegian Kroner? I think that's what that is. No, Archcast is awesome. But yeah, no, Denims is, not only Denims, but the Reddit 3 Snark mods. They're fucked. I mean, I can't say as a lawyer, actually, you know what? We are doing a lot of Lawtube, so we're gonna switch it to the, to the suit. But I can't, as a lawyer, say like, oh yeah, you know, Denims is absolutely 100% going to lose this, because you never really know when it comes to copyright infringement cases.
You got me a present!
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Meteoric91 gives Eva some head pats and says another head pat for the lolly.
Thank you so much for the head pats.
Part.
There we go. Okay, okay, I have to find where that is, by the way. Because, dear God, that scared the absolute shit out of me. I mean, that was so loud. I may be a snark. No, this is the H3 Reddit snark mods. For those who don't know what we're talking about. And like I said, I can't guarantee that Denims is going to lose this case. But I'm at like 95% here, guys. Not only because of how Denims and the H3 Snark mods have been replying and responding to these lawsuits, but because of the social media posts as well. Denims is going off the fucking deep end. She's going after VTubers or VTuber viewers or some shit, I don't even know. Keep scaring the lolly with head pats. Okay, listen, that's rude. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it here. It's 22-minute fast facts, and this is the knife down and dirty version with Andrew's peepee. You know, PowerPoint. Let's go ahead and get off the background music and switch on over to my reacts. Ah, shit. You know what? Didn't work. Hold on. One more time. Let's try that. Hey, it worked. Okay. So here we go. So handsome.
Today, Denims and Casey Tron, Frogan, the Reddit mods, they're all in hot water. And we're going to talk about it today on The Legal Mind, so we teach you to be your own judge. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is months in to the legal saga of Ethan Klein suing the three of them for copyright infringement, and it only gets worse, you know especially when we...
real quick, because I just realized. What's super funny about this is my last video, like my last posted video, it was Denim's, part of Denim's response to complaint, and it was just the affirmative defenses of Denims, and she used 18 affirmative defenses. Now, every affirmative defense that her lawyer is using, that's all billable hours, guys. I don't know why, but I feel like perhaps Denim's lawyer is throwing everything at the wall to see what might stick, and and whoever is representing Denims is billing Denims every fucking cent of the way. Every minute of research time into those defenses is being billed. I mean, this is not going to be cheap for Denims.
Examine not just the court filings, but also the social media posts. And of course, this is a fast version. So if you like the quick and dirty version of latest legal news, like the video and leave a comment below. But if you like the live, where we're going to go through all of Denim's filing, we're going to go through everything, you can go over to the live version and check that out now. So, of course, I've got a PP for you. I've got a PowerPoint. So let's check this out. So, of course, we know the characters here. We know Casey Tron. We know Denims. We know Frogan. These are all Hassan's orbiters. These are all those that are wrapped up in this lawsuit with Ethan Klein over the Hassan Piker content nuke.
Freaking scuff. I totally had myself muted. Why does Casey Tron look like literally this looks like this was taken maybe in a cell? I mean literally these Frogan, I couldn't tell where she is, right? It's just her face. Denims, normal streaming room. Casey Tron, not only is the lighting horrible, but she looks fucking like she looks defeated. This is a wild fucking Casey Tron picture. That's all I'm saying. My God.
So let's go and see what's happened now. So what has happened now is we initially had a filing by Ethan Klein. He filed the complaint. So Ethan Klein started it. And now we're getting a lot of the defense filings from Denims, from Casey Tron, Frogan, and the Reddit mods. So there's a number of filings that were gone through here today, and I'm not going to bore you with the details of which one's which and whatnot. That's more of a live version aspect. But what I'm going to say is most significant.
For those who want, actually, you know what? JP Ravenfire, I know you're here. Could you hop into Legal Mindset's channel and link the stream that he did on this? For anybody who wants to see him actually go through the legal filings. Like I said, they're pretty dense and they're pretty fucking dumb as far as the arguments go.
Significant news is that the Reddit mods responded with hundreds of pages of legal filings in their defense. However, most of those pages are irrelevant exhibits. So we're going to go over the high points, some of the high arguments, and the biggest defense arguments they're bringing up now, and how those are absolutely ridiculous. We also do have a trial date tentatively set for December of 2025. So I'm very much looking forward to trials. I love trials. Trials are great. Trials are amazing.
Yeah, trials are amazing. I mean, I will say this, the qualifier here is probably tentatively. There's a lot of stuff in litigation like this that can happen, especially coming up to the trial date, that could drastically change this. It could either, oh, you know what, they decided, they finally backed out, they stopped playing chicken and they're just gonna settle, or there's a continuance, or there's there's so many reasons why the trial date can change, but that is a qualifier.
Amazing. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. Now, do understand that tentatively means it can be changed. And we often see in the legal system, as with many other cases, such as the case of Courtney Clenny, which I've been covering for several years and wanting to cover so hard, it's been pushed 2 years down the line. So this could be pushed into 2026 and on and on and on. But just understand, at least we have the first date that gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah, no, this would not be broadcasted.
Now, what happened here? So in this one filing that I'm going to go through first, this is the...
and there you go. By the way, that was perfectly timed, JP Ravenfire. For those who want to see, him dive deeper into the legal filings and not just him covering it on his PowerPoint, go ahead and click the link JP Ravenfire just provided. That's the full live stream that the Fast Facts is based on.
Subpoenas in regarding to the subpoenas to Reddit, Discord. This is the mods fighting back. This is the mods trying to hide from the wrath of Ethan Klein. They do not want Ethan Klein to be able to get...
Okay, so wait a minute. He was wrong. It's 2026, not 2025. Okay, gotcha. So that is a, so I guess trial has been tentatively set. Okay, he'll mention it later, Cole. But trial date had been tentatively set not for 2025, but 2026 December. So next year.
get their information, to discover them, to be able to out them, to be able to out their messages. So understand at this point, and this is the critical thing, a lot of people are going to miss this. They are trying to make their whole case in this argument before we've even had what's called discovery, before we even have any facts come out. They're just trying to gush 700 pages to prevent us from looking at the facts.
700
think about
pages.
that for a second.
Holy
Pause and
shit.
think.
Yeah, no, okay. That is, pause and think about, okay, you know what, I am thinking about that. But seriously, 700 fucking pages? Hold on, let me finish this
Think
sentence.
about that.
There we go. Pause. Okay, and there's a much better pause frame, by the way, for the old LM. But, yeah. So their responses number in the pages in 700 fucking pages. Look, if you have a good defense, if you are able to, I mean, even on the prosecution side, I think you could really get to the meat of your complaint in 15 to 20 pages and call it a day. If you are submitting 700 pages, that can't be construed as anything else but malicious attempt to, you know, bury the truth in a mountain of shit. Well, I mean, for lack of a better word, sorry. But Jesus Christ.
All of this is a thing that is being done to stop us from getting the facts. And when somebody fights too much, it's like that old saying, the lady doth protest too much. When they fight back too much, you know what they're doing. When they have 700 pages behind it, that means there's really something to hide. And we're going to get into that today.
Yeah.
So here's what the
Because
arguments
here's the thing, like normal people will fucking hide, like they'll have shit to hide in a 80 or 90 page fucking motion, right? Like unless it's really substantive somehow, but like usually if you're getting well over 50 pages, you're starting to get lost in the weeds, you know, and at that point you can start thinking, okay, you're probably trying to hide some shit, and you're trying to hide it in like 15 pages of fucking bullshit. For it to go from like normal amounts, 90 page, you know, submissions or 120 page submissions, no, let's times that shit by 7.
They brought up in this motion, I'm going to call it a motion to hide. And I took this little clip
The statement of lies. I don't think that's transformative. That's not part of the original PDF, obviously, but that's fucking great. I love it so much. The statement of lies.
A portion of it. There's a portion of a filings called the Statement of Facts, but I like to rebrand it as a Statement of Lies. I think that's much better. So what they tried to lay out here is kind of a picture of Ethan Klein as kind of this evil, like an evil Admiral Akbar, right? In a legal sense.
What the fuck are some of these? Hold on, let's see. Ethan Klein has on podcast Denims, a web of reactionary content, okay? H3 Snark sub, a safe and anonymous space for, I'm sorry. Is Reddit calling it, look, is any subreddit trying to call itself a safe space? That's hilarious.
He laid this legal trap, and that's totally not permissible. And because of that, and because Ethan Klein is an evil, bad man, therefore we shouldn't allow the facts to come out ever and see whether anything is real or not. And to be honest with you, a lot of this, when I read through it, I just purely laughed. And by the way, I'll be going through and laughing at this on the live version. So if you want to catch that, it's going to be much longer. Go to the live version.
You have the link to it.
Stuff like, for example, here where they say the H3 Snark subreddit, a safe and safe and anonymous space for criticism of H3. Whenever any place calls itself a safe space, I know exactly what is going on there.
Yeah, no, it does.
And then they're laying out this trap argument. Now, I want to be a little bit empathetic on this because I have had people reach out to me, very reasonable people, and say, Andrew, this is the thing that bothers me legally, this idea of a trap. And I think the lawyers for...
Okay, so... Trying to be empathetic here, as he is. I have seen this argument. Maybe I have been too dismissive of it, but you have to understand that doing something like registering your copyright with the Library of Congress can't really be construed as a trap. And even if it was a trap, even if somehow we made Ethan Klein to be this freaking 4D chess freaking Code Geass Lelouch motherfucker, right? Even if we had that, it wouldn't change how the law works. The facts are, Ethan Klein registered his created work with the Library of Congress, giving it enhanced protection than just creating just the basic copyright that's applied when you create something. If you want to actually seek damages and get recourse cause of action against other people for infringing your copyright, you want to register it. So with it registered, he's entitled to a number of damages, and he's entitled to bring a complaint against anybody who infringes his content. For him to do that, to do it by the letter of the law, and then for them to just break the law and then gloat about it, that's not really a trap. But even if it was a trap, they fell for it and they still broke the law. Even if it's a trap, it doesn't change how the law is applied.
The mods know that. So they're hyper-focusing on this word trap. But the word trap is in and of itself a trap. It's a trap, right? The trap is a trap, right? It's a trap within a trap within a trap. It's trapception.
Holy
The point
shit, what?
is, from a legal standpoint, it does not matter what your intent is when you file a copyright registration. When you register a copyright, when you file a copyright, it doesn't matter if, as they say here, Ethan laid a trap. Okay, let's say that's true. Let's presume that's true. Let's say he is a Machiavellian evil genius who laid this evil dastard.
Okay, look. Pre-watch allegations aside, but he's making a better fucking... That's a better comparison than I was to Lelouch from Code Geass. I should have said L or something, I don't know.
Trap. Does that change how the law functions? It actually doesn't. It doesn't change the law
No,
at
it doesn't.
all.
No, at all.
And that is a really hard thing to accept. But what I have to explain, and I often explain to people, is there are very large corporations which do bad things. They lay traps all the time. One I'm covering right now is Pokemon. Pokemon.
Yeah, no, legal traps are laid all the time. But I mean, like, I'm trying to think of a way to put it in a way that makes a lot of sense for people here, right? Particularly, let us say you live in a bad neighborhood. A neighborhood where cars are frequently stolen. And you get car insurance, you get full coverage, even covering stolen vehicles and shit like that, right? Fully covered. And you park your car out, in front of your driveway, and it gets stolen. And the person gets fucking arrested for stealing it, and he goes, well, he should have known not to fucking, like, he was laying a trap by getting insurance and coverage and putting it here for me to steal. No, you still broke the fucking law. You still broke the law. Whether or not it was a trap or whatever, it doesn't matter. You still broke the law, and in your commission of a crime, you're going to have to pay for that. And an appropriate defense isn't, well, they trapped me, they set me up. No, you set yourself up when you decided to break the law.
Company International, or Kabushiki Gaisha Pokemon, they lay patent traps. They set these overly broad patents which cover everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we've covered a little bit, mostly through Legal Mindset, I think, but especially when the patent infringement case is going on between Nintendo and Pal World. And it's I think it's Nintendo, but it's through the Pokemon Company, and but like, yeah, and in that case, they are still, to this day, getting new patents that are broadly applied that could be put into this case. There is actual, like, legal trappings and shit that's malicious and gross and dirty. I cannot bring myself to say that Ethan Klein's quote-unquote trap here was dirty. I mean, especially given the statements of intent that we have from all three of them. All three of them said, thank you for not giving your views to Ethan Klein and giving them instead to me. Feel free to drop a dono or a sub and, you know, all that shit. You know, they said and bragged about and celebrated the fact that they were violating and infringing upon Ethan's copyright. He has every reason to bring a cause of action against these individuals.
Right? And that's a trap. And they do that with intent silently in the night, hoping nobody catches them in order to lock down an entire genre of video games. So comport that over, translate that over to here. Is that necessarily illegal? No, you can technically do that, right? You have what's called a prima facie case. Might that make you an evil person? Well, that's a subjective argument. That's a moral argument. That's not a legal argument. It is not a legal argument to say the person across from me is a bad, bad man. You can't win that way. Even if they are a bad, bad man, they have to have broken the law. They have to have done something wrong. They have to have broken a rule of procedure, etc. That argument is simply not sufficient. And then they go on to say, and I want to get into the fair use elements here, and I just had to use emojis because I was laughing throughout all this. You know, as soon as I saw Denims use was fair use, I just started laughing. It was a pure reaction. So the first argument they made...
No, for real though. Like this, it's so funny to me that he's using like emoticons in images to annotate his freaking like most people highlight shit, right? Nah, hey, I laughed here, the share stream. What the fuck are you talking about? Stonks, Trojan gun. Oh, and I guarantee you these are all pneumatics that allow him to fucking, oh yeah, this was my state of mind when I read this originally. That's fucking hilarious way to do this. But yeah, Denim's use was not fair use. Denim's use was transformative, does not supersede the original. Oh yeah, bullshit. TEI's highly factual works supports greater dissemination. What? Wait a minute. TEI's highly factual works supports greater dissemination. Are you trying to say what? I'm trying to understand what that means. I'm sorry, I'm caught on it, but like I don't understand what they're trying to like because TEI's content is highly factual. It supports disseminating it in violation of copyright law. What are you saying?
Her use is transformative and does not supersede the original. Well, that's where the empty chair comes in. That's where she's got to make the argument that what she did was so important and so innovative that it just totally changed it and made it something different. And it overwhelms the fact that she, with intent, said, please, everybody, watch this instead of his video as a replacement. So it's got to be so different
bring up that clip right now.
that it's okay to replace the thing. Because many times when people are doing things on the internet, for example, parody, we'll even talk about Pokemon here because I love Pokemon here. You know, if you're making Pokemon memes, you're making Pokemon, mods, whatever else, it's not a replacement for the thing. But the error that Denims made...
Okay, so Francis Karma brought something up that kind of makes sense, but here. Francis Karma says, that sounds like it is trying to argue that since Ethan's content is factual, it is even more open to fair use. So, like, for use of education and stuff like that, maybe, but this is such a weird way to word it. I don't, like, the content is more factual rather than creative, therefore it doesn't deserve high standards of copyright protection. Yeah, no, I think you guys are kind of in the right area. I don't know what lawyer wrote this and thought that this was a good response. And I can tell this is like a table of contents or some shit. Like, that was what was really weird. When I brought up some of the responses, they had like a full-on table of contents that was like 9 or 10 pages long. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. You have a 10-page table of contents? Come on. I can't deal with this shit.
Was she went out there and explicitly said, what I am doing is here to replace you watching Ethan's video. And because of that, that's where the real error comes in for this transformative element. Next, this is the most shocking thing to me, is Denims came out, the attorney said, essentially, remember, TEI is Ethan Klein. So let's read this as Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein's highly factual works support greater dissemination. So literally here, people, we have Denim's lawyers saying Ethan Klein is right and factual.
Okay, that's what I, okay, thank you with the fucking eyes closed meme. I'm serious. What I had such a trouble here with this fucking line is, this is an admittance. This is nothing that you would write to help support your client as the defense team in this respect, right? As the respondent. But here we have him just saying, yeah, it's everything he says is true, and that's why we're allowed to infringe upon what the fuck? It's such a fucking self-owned shoot in the foot moment for these lawyers. I don't understand it.
What? I mean, I read this and I blinked. I'm like, wow, that's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. And I know what they're trying to do legally, but this puts Denims in a really awkward position, because now if she says anything online other than everything that Ethan Klein said is true and factual, it's not opinion, everything that Ethan Klein said is fact, Denims, because if you go online now, Denims, and say that anything that Ethan Klein says is his opinion, well, that hurts your legal argument, darling. And that's not good for you, because your lawyers just argued that he is indeed making factual arguments. Oopsie. Also, Denims did not negatively impact the market. She increased it. Now, this is the most like, and I put the stonks over here because this is the most like, you know, meme coin sort of logic out there that I've ever seen in my life. It's sort of like Denims increased the market because everyone has enjoyed watching, along with my channel, every other channel, and roasting Denims, and how absolutely brain dead her take is on the law, and how brain dead her position here is, and how screwed she is legally. She's increased the market by people roasting her, by people coming out there and making fun of her. So it's not something she intended to do. It's an unintentional secondary effect. It's very hilarious. And the last one here is, stripping the original elements, TEI's thin copyrights deserve little protection.
I really don't like the phrasing here. TEI's thin copyrights. I'm sorry, but Ethan Klein registered this particular work with the Library of Congress. This has the thickest copyright protection that you can get, pretty much. Like, I mean, I'm sorry he did everything he should have done, but that doesn't make TEI's copyrights thin by any means.
That's what I call the Trojan ultra-thin argument. That's a Trojan ultra-thin argument. And that one I throw out there because, look, they're trying to say that nothing that TEI does is original, that it's not something that is like, it's not something that is creative, it's not...
I mean, look, a thin copyright would be like, okay, I create something and it's mine, I have a copyright to it, but I don't register it with the Library of Congress, and it has a lot of unoriginal content associated with it. If you stripped it down of only its original content, there wouldn't be much there worth protecting, right? That's pretty much what that means. But it does not apply to somebody who's gone through the trouble of registering their created work with the Copyright Office, with the Library of Congress. It doesn't work here. It's an argument that can work, but not here.
That is on its own, and that's not true at all. And that's fundamental copyright analysis failure. That's a huge failure. What Ethan Klein put together is quintessentially unique, because even taking clips of things and rearranging them has been held in court to be very, very much original, creative, etc., and deserving of copyright. If you were to compile a bunch of clips and take those together and mash them up in a unique way, you can get a copyright for that. That's absolutely permissible. So trying to say, well, because it's clips and clips and clips, it deserves no copyright protection, that doesn't work. That's and also think about the precedent, i.e. the effect of this. So let's play this out. If reacting to clips is that's not protected at all, then every single clip reaction channel on the internet, right? Every single channel that uses clips everywhere, people can just take the whole thing and repost it. Does that sound right? Does that sound like that's a
Hello,
thing
Beezer,
that
how's it
people are
going?
going to allow? Just everybody fully copy pasting their
Kiss
channels.
Alice,
You're going to have a bunch of bots out there just spamming
Gabby
out
said
new
welcome as
channels,
well.
and they're not going to be able to stop them
And
because,
Dark
hey,
KFC,
that's fair
or C-
use, right? No, that's
KFC.
not how it works. And it just seems to me like this is a very, very thin argument. And if you look at the substance of these arguments, which I believe is going to be the substance of the arguments for Frogan and Caseytron, these are laughable arguments. These are arguments that are so funny that, I mean, literally it hurts. I'm trying not to laugh right now. I already did earlier. But this is absolutely hilarious. So going from there, there are other filings that have other things that were very revealing beyond these fair use arguments. One was this argument they're bringing up regarding the human skulls that were sent to Ethan and Hilla and saying, well, Ethan and Hilla sent the skulls themselves. The skulls were sent by...
Wait a minute, what? There's no way. They... Arriving in a box clearly branded from Skulls Unlimited? Evidence strongly suggests this human skull packages were a hoax. Likely sent by Ethan and Hila themselves. Okay, you dicks. I'm sorry, but you absolute fucking cunts. I mean, do you have evidence to support this? To support... I mean, this is quite a fucking... This is quite an allegation to make. That's kind of a relative... Jesus Christ. This says page 128 out of 158. This is fucking ridiculous. Oh, thank you, Mango Fox, for being a Earl for 8 months. Holy moly, 8 months of monetization. Yeah, I think it has been 8. Yeah, 8 months. I'm just in here thinking that I'm going to have to be the motherfucker who mods in the old Palsphere behavior back. Completely. I mean, that's the thing too. Nintendo's going for... Nintendo's actually going for, gunning for modders and shit too. Do we have membership gifting? Oh shit, guys, guess what? Time to send some motherfucking gifty. Bada bing, a bada fucking boom. Bam, thank you Nimneb, JT5434, Kugetsu, Shrike, and Crazy Calamon. Let us continue. I might send the other 5 later this stream or on another stream. We'll find out.
By them. It's all a conspiracy. It's all involving some humble fruit farmers, right? And Taylor Lorenz, of course, because she shows up in everything, right? Taylor Lorenz and the Kiwis, they did it, right? How does that have anything to do with copyright law?
Thank you so much for the
What does that have to do with copyright?
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, thank you. Okay, yeah, thank you. That's what I was wondering. And welcome, thank you JP Ravenfire for the 5 gifted memberships of Biza Quill, Shin V98, Sanguine, a Constipated Crusader, amazing name by the way, and I think that's Knight.
Law? What does a human skull have to do with copyright? That has nothing to do with anything. And it has nothing to do with whether or not the court should allow for people to look at the messages of people on Reddit, right? This is really what this is about, people. This is just whether or not Reddit as a platform will have to turn over the messages, turn over things. And the thing is, the reality is Reddit itself is scared. It's not just the mods,
no.
the
I just realized something. Oh, Jesus, you've opened some doors here. Because, like he said, this has nothing to do with a copyright infringement lawsuit, but the fact that this is your response to complaint means that when Discovery opens up, why did you bring this up? It had nothing to do... Now we get to look into it, though. Because it was put in your initial fucking response to complaint. This is wow. Who was this dumb? Who was actually this fucking dumb?
rabbit hole is going to go way, way deeper on this. Just wait.
Thank you so much, Sparky, for
Next
joining
slide here.
Girl.
You see Reddit itself offered. So many, and let me read this quote here. Many of my fellow moderators have endured a deep psychological impact and fear of retaliation to the point that Reddit admins offered us free subscriptions to privacy software that would help remove our PII. PII is personal identifiable information. And by the way, guys on this channel, remember that term, PII.
Yeah, PII is personal identifying information. It's you're gonna see it prop up a lot in court filings and stuff like that. It's usually what is used to abbreviate that, but it's personally identifying information.
Is some of the most, that is the gold of the modern era. Every company is trying to farm your PII. If they're trying to give you something for free, it's because they're farming you like an NPC. They're just farming you for that sweet PII. That's really at the undercurrent of a lot of what's going on. But here we go. Reddit here says, hey, we're going to help you scrub that information from the internet in case we are doxxed and harassed. So Reddit is actually engaging in potential, and once again, I'm going to say allegedly, according to this statement, once again, this is their own filing, but they literally told on themselves and said Reddit admins are helping them scrub evidence. So this can now be escalated by Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein can look at his lawyers, which I'm sure are going to get this clip. I'm very sure they're going to look at this quote over here and say, wait a second, Reddit admins are scrubbing evidence?
Yeah,
okay.
that's what's happening. That's what's been admitted to here. And then, like, look, it might be kind of funny, but it'd be kind of like if in your response you admitted to being that woman in Better Call Saul when he fucking writes that cease and desist in the bathroom on toilet paper, because he looks in the back and he can see Sandpiper actively shredding documents, right? Now imagine that in your response to HMM's complaint against Sandpiper, the class action lawsuit, you said, well, yeah, but our admins were paying for us to shred all these files. Like, you can't, This has gotten so much worse, so much faster. I mean, holy shit. And it's them to blame. This is all their own bet that they get to lay in. And thank you very much, Festiva, for the 2. Ethan getting everything he wanted and more. Dude, and he doesn't even have to do anything. This is just their initial responses. I can't wait for this to move forward, for Discovery to open up, and for all the other shit that we're going to get, because this is, I mean, goddamn, guys.
Now we're going to go deeper into Reddit and see what's going on here. What is going on with the protection of these people? How deep does this go? Now we may get cell phone logs. Now we may get text messages. Now we may get corporate emails, because Reddit admins have decided to step in, not just the mods. They themselves, by their own filings, have deepened this lawsuit. And this is a hilarious one, which I thought as well, which for those that were around and have been around on the internet and have been victims of this is a horrible thing. And I've been saying this for the past, as long as I've been on the internet. Swatting is horrible. But this is sort of the like consequences are coming around to people that have never had consequences thing. So their whole argument for not giving up their information, where their messages, etc., is the repercussions if we are unmasked are not hypothetical. As a harsh reality I know we would face if our identities were revealed, I'm certain we'd be targets of swatting, a dangerous and potentially deadly harassment tactic. And you know what? I agree. But here's the thing. Many people on Reddit have been swatting people for ages with no consequences.
There's literally swatting subreddits and shit like that. We've seen shitloads of fucking, this is kind of an insane argument to make when you're the side that has been facilitating and supporting doxing activity going on your platform for fucking years. I mean, come on.
With nothing coming back at them. And now when they're the ones where there might be some internet repercussions, are like, oh, no. It's all fun and games when you have no face and you're behind a little avatar. But now that you're going to be unmasked, things are going to get serious, huh? And this is going to happen all across the internet. This is why this case is so important, because we do need to unmask these people that have been engaging in these tactics consequence-free. They've been online doing these things consequence-free, and we can get them through the legal process. And
they need to absolutely be like, look, you have been getting away with this for arguably decades. Yeah, maybe not Reddit itself, but like these communities of people have subsisted on the internet and violating the law in very obvious ways for years, if not, like I said, decades. So I'm sorry, but this is hello consequences of my own actions. And, you know, if you do end up getting doxxed or swatted or whatever, we have a justice system for that. We have people to apply the charges, to report it to, you know. Yeah, sadly that is a risk, but you being one of the people who has done, you're only mentioning this dangerous and potentially deadly harassment tactic because you guys are pretty much the creators of it. I mean, 4chan and Reddit, that's where the fucking doxers and swatters go.
This is completely legal, right? This is absolutely legal. This is why this case is massive precedent, and this is why it is so important overall for the online ecosystem. And once again, this is done in a peaceful, non-violent way where we're just figuring out the truth. Hey, who's really behind that little anime waifu avatar? Okay. So really, at the end of the day, the basic question, the question that still remains at the end of this, and this is the question for the court, is does Ethan Klein, 10 Entertainment, have the right to know who willfully and deliberately engaged in copyright infringement against Ethan Klein with the intent to cause financial harm? So that's what the court has to ask. Does Ethan Klein have the right to know? And the answer, the spoiler alert, is clearly yes, right? The court is going to answer yes.
Hey,
There's
private
no
parts, how's
other
it going?
possible answer. Like, it's not, oh, we get to hide. Oh, no, there's a right to hide because we have feelings. Oh, we might be, oh, no. No, you don't get to hide from consequences.
Okay, so what's the charge? What's the legal charge for a case of swatting? Filing a false no. Well, it kind of goes there, but actually recently, just real quick, because the question has been asked about, you know, regarding swatting and stuff. Recently in, I think it was Ventura. It was in California, but recently a serial swatter has been California serial swatter sentenced. Hold on. Here we go. A teenager from Lancaster, California, was sentenced to 4 years in prison in February 2025 for a nationwide swatting spree. Filian pleaded guilty to 4 counts of interstate transmission of threats. Federal prosecutors said he caused fear, chaos, and significant drain on law enforcement resources with his host calls. So the charges that actually stuck to him was quite literally interstate transmission of a threat. Let's look that up real quick. Bam. Here we go. It's under 18 USC 875. Let me go ahead and just do this for you guys so you can see it. Whoever transmitting interstate foreign commerce, any communication containing any matter request for a ransom reward for the release of any kidnapped person shall be fined under this title in prison not more than 20 years or both. There you go. Yeah, because it went out of state, so this is interstate now. Whoever with intent to extort from any person, firm, association, or corporation, any money or other thing of value transmits in interstate and foreign commerce any communication containing any threat to kidnap any person or any threat to injure the person of another shall be fined under this title or in prison not more than 20 years or both. And so it keeps going on about that, but this is what he got. Yeah. So there you go on that one. Let's continue this.
Because you might be swatted. People face criminal prosecution, civil prosecution all the time, every single day. They're dragged out there in court. You think these people are so deranged, they believe that the internet is a shield, this magical shield, a magical barrier. And their little minds on Reddit are blown when this magical barrier disappears and all of a sudden you're exposed. Well, guess what? That's consequences. That's reality. Real people deal with that all the time. And they thought they were living in another reality or another timeline or another thing.
Because he was a teenager, he's 18, and it was a first offense. I think honestly the prosecution went far lighter with the plea deal they gave him than they should have. I think he should have gotten 8 to 10. Because I looked into that case and he had doxed and swatted. I'm talking hundreds of people, dude. I'm talking hundreds of people, including federal agencies. He literally swatted federal agencies. I mean, this dude, this teenager was a fucking... I mean, he was a menace. And I think he deserves more than just 4 years, but it's been adjudicated. He's been found, he pled guilty to it, whatever. That's just something I'm going to have to disagree with when it comes to, once again, California's prosecution team.
Where they can just get away with whatever they want to do online without any sort of consequences. Well, that's not going to happen. Now, I will say, and to be very fair, because once again, I do try to be very fair, there are certain protections for certain types of protected information. So, for example, if someone was a minor or a law enforcement officer or a judge or something like that, yes, maybe there are certain things that could be protected, but they're going to have to prove that. And they're going to have to prove they are somebody that has protected characteristics of the PII or certain types of PII that might be protected. But Ethan Klein is going to get a lot. He may not get every single last detail, but he's going to get a lot. These people will definitely be exposed.
He's going to get a lot of it, yeah.
Okay. We do have the trial date. That is December 14th, 2026. And once again, this can change, but this gives us a note because once again, I think that Denims, Frogan, Casey Tron, they all thought this is just some hypothetical thing. This wasn't going to happen. This will never happen. Girls, it's happening. You're not going to stop it. Now, you can delay it. This may go down to January, February. It may go another year. Who knows? Right? Oh, and I'm sorry. I got the date wrong. I scuffed this hard. I'm not going to re-record this video. I scuffed this hard. It's actually December 14th, 2026. So ignore the part earlier in the PowerPoint where I said 2025. 2026. We still got a date. The point is we have a fixed date for this. And because we have a fixed date for this, they can now look forward in their heads to, okay, next year, 2026, this is going to be the bombshell that's going to drop. And that is going to be just something dangling over their head, which is perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let's get into another thing I want to mention, and this is to wrap up the video here at the end. Denims made some really inappropriate comments against members of the VTubing community, as well as many other members out there, streamers, etc. She was trying to pick on.
Here? Hold on, I'm sorry. Hold on. The Pippa, Kirsch, Lucy Pyre, Vixie, Banana Juchu, Ophelia Valentine. What is happening?
An individual chatter. Right? So instead of going after this individual, she took this opportunity to, of course, she was going to take shots at Asmongold. That's natural. She actually ignored Tectone. I think
I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. My dad just opened the door and said, I did a thing, and he looks like he should be in trouble. So I'm going to be right back. Hold on. Alright guys, I am back. Sorry about that. Hold on. So, my dad has been, he has been using the laptop, the emergency laptop that I got from Mexico last year, before I was even streaming on YouTube, really, right? I gave that to him because he needed a new laptop, and he's been using that as his TV, as anything. When he lays down, he has crane over on the side and freaking tunnel vision shit. he came back from the store and I guess he got a good deal on a nice sized TV that I will have to help him mount to his wall so he doesn't have to act like a scribe in ancient England, freaking leaning in and just fucking trying to see everything he can. He can watch good movies. He's very happy. The laptop is not filled with porn chat. What the fuck? Alright, let's turn off background music and let us see what in the world Denims has decided to do taking shots at VTubers.
Town definitely offended by being ignored Ethan Klein even, but she went out of her way more than she hated on Asmongold. Once again, she ignored Tectone, she ignored Ethan Klein, who's suing her in this lawsuit that I just talked about for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So more important than this $100,000 lawsuit was to make fun of people. I'm not kidding about this. This is serious. Was to pick on people with 2D avatars, sometimes 3D, mostly 2D anime-ish avatars.
That's
her top problem. That's her top threat. Her top threat are people like Pippa Pipkin, Kirsha, Riri, a lot of other people. But she actually started.
Just for this. I mean, and I'm serious here. Hold on. We're doing this. I'm gonna go ahead and I normally wouldn't, because I don't normally just like post my own YouTube channel videos. But I did, like, literally my last fucking... No, don't, oh, thank God, I almost heard myself, and I hate when that happens. Okay, the 18 affirmative defenses of Denims. Here you guys go. I'm gonna send this to you. And if you guys want to check this out at some point. Those are Denims' that's her response to complaint. Those are the reasons that she believes Ethan Klein can't sue her. It is my last video, and I guarantee you, because of this little shit throwing thing that she's decided to do, I'm gonna cover Denims' lawsuit in regarding the Ethan Klein stuff more so than any other of the 3 parties named. More so than Caseytron, more so than Frogan. Denims, you have my undivided attention. I hope you enjoy that. So yeah.
Started out by picking on Iron Mouse. And I felt like I needed to tuck this in here as an ultimate L, because not only are you not focusing on your lawsuit, Denims, as you should be, you are picking on a poor girl with immune deficiency. This poor girl is engaged in a massive lawsuit, or rather legal struggle.
To be fair, though, if I remember right, because I was there for some of the member stream with Andrew covering this, and I remember that she brought up Iron Mouse, and you could actually, you know what? Can I do this? Does he do it? Does he show it? Hold on. No, he doesn't. Hold on. I gotta show you guys something amazing, because I know the clip he's talking about, and I want to bring it up. Because it's kind of fucking, it's hilarious what happens. She literally starts going, she goes after Pippa, after Kirsch, after like so many of these girls, right? But then she gets to Iron Mouse, and you can tell she's about to go in, and she stops herself, and she just moves on because she realizes, like, in real time, oh shit, I can't fucking talk shit about Iron Mouse of all people. So here we are, Denims attacking VTubers. Here we go. Kazuhana, how are you the first 3 fucking... Oh my god, dude. Okay, let's see here. Is this it? Is this it? No? No? No, come on, guys. I mean, can I just get the clip? I just want the clip. Okay, internet versus maybe. Will you have it? You know what? He has
A couple days ago, a live streamer at Denims TV, who we've covered a couple times in various ways on this channel, got in a clash with the VTuber community. After a clip declined, immediately tons of people pointed out the seeming hypocrisy in this, given that Denims herself YouTubers. It starts when a best friend tweets out this clip.
Waiting for you to
Option. Denims crashes out on Chatter for following VTubers and Asmongold.
Okay,
I'm waiting for you to lose the lawsuit. Oh no, that's IDub. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god. So sad for you, man. Well, I hope one day, I know you might think your life is over because you're 40 years old and you've never made a single friend in your life, but you know, anyone can turn their life around. Anyone. Oh, sorry, not you. I changed my mind. Listen, I love VTubers, but you know it's a special type of mental derangement when it's someone that follows exclusively VTubers and also Asmongold. This is not a good sign. Followed Asmongold, right? Following Rich Campbell, okay. Then followed Asmongold's other account, Hyperfan. And that wasn't enough, by the way. He's also following Asmongold 24/7. He needs his Asmongold, okay? He needs it. He needs his mold. And then was like, discovered Iron Mouse and was like, well, actually, sorry, discovered, it seems like a couple of VTubers before.
There it is. There it is. I'm sorry, there it is. Can we go back?
Like, discovered Iron Mouse and was like, well, actually, sorry, discovered...
Well, actually, sorry. Let's move right on because I realized the fucking landmine that I just stepped on. That's literally what just happened there. Yeah, that's what happened there. Anyway, that was that clip. That's freaking, oh my god. Alright, so I mean that pretty much puts that done, yeah.
We don't know whether she's suing it or not. She had hundreds of thousands, if not millions, stolen from her by a corporation that committed charity fraud and completely abused its employees, a horrible thing. She's wrapped up in that. She has immune deficiency, and you decide, of all people, to come out and pick on her. Why? Well, because she feels threatened by VTubers, by these 2D avatars. She cannot handle it. She feels like people are going to go over there and spend their money on them instead of on her OnlyFans. And that was possibly the most sad and pathetic thing. And it was doubly sad because once again, you're picking on people that, once again, like Iron Mouse, who could not be more, there could not be a more sympathetic person out there, period. Right? Period. And then she goes on to pick on Kirsha, Pippa, etc., a bunch of people. But I did really, and I want to leave you guys with this today, find out the real reason why Denims is so salty and so against VTubers. And that's, of course, because they put out better foot content than her. That's really it. That's really it. She was very mad. She was very mad at Riri because the foot content is just unparalleled. I mean, you really can't match that there. So that's why Denims is salty. She's losing the lawsuit. She's losing her pay pigs. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next.
Ladies and gentlemen,
right there. Oh, we got him.
we got him.
We got him. Okay, let's see here. Oh, no, what the fuck? Oh my god, Jimmy Kimmel. God, as you know, ever since he got back on the air, my recommendeds have been flooded with his shit. I've never watched this stuff before, guys. I swear. Please don't hurt me. Freaking autoplay's on. That's what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go... we're going to move on to Nate the Lawyer. This is Nate the Lawyer, and this is Lawyer Explains Why James Comey was indicted. It's about 12 minutes, and I think Nate does a pretty decent job of showing why this 1.5-page indictment is kind of a load of bullshit. Just look, if you want to indict Comey, get him on substantive stuff that you can actually pin him with. You're going to see, I imagine in this video, exactly what was exposed, what he's been charged with, and how, by the skin of his teeth, he got 2 of the charges passed, barely by a grand jury, and the main bombshell fucking charge that they wanted for perjury was not actually granted by a grand jury. So there's a lot of issues with this James Comey indictment. Did I just call it indictment? Sorry. There's a lot of problems with it, and you know what? I'm gonna let the video play, honestly.
Just gotten word that former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted by a grand jury.
Former FBI Director James Comey, or as he likes to describe himself, Mr. Higher Honor, has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Virginia.
Former FBI Director James Comey is now the first senior government official to face charges.
We have major breaking legal news. The Trump Justice Department has now indicted former FBI Director James Comey.
Today, we're going to look at the facts and evidence behind the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey. All right, I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to start this video off as a strictly factual recount of the criminal charges. So I'm going to treat you essentially as a juror. We're going to leave out all of the political wranglings and just really focus in on what the evidence is, what the charges are, and in that way you get to make a determination based on the facts on whether this case has any legs or not. And then we get to listen to the political spin from both sides. Now, first things first, this is a criminal indictment, which is evidence and proof of nothing. These are just allegations where, if proven true in a court of law, could lead to the conviction of James Comey. Now, this indictment lists 2 counts. The first count is false statements within the jurisdiction of a legislative branch, essentially lying to Congress. And then the second count is obstruction of a conditional proceeding, or essentially obstruction of justice, lying to Congress to hide the fact that you were doing something criminal. Now, for the next piece of factual information, the indictment states that the facts that led to this indictment occurred on September 30th, 2020, almost 5 years ago. Now, this is important because, as you can see, this indictment was filed on September 25th, 2025. That means there were only 5 days left for the government to get this indictment filed, or they'd have lost any opportunity to prosecute James Comey for any of these alleged criminal actions.
So, okay, that's funny. So they got this through because they were running out of time. The statute of limitations was approaching, and they would not be able to prosecute within 5 days. So on September 30th, so just a few days ago, right? If they had not brought this indictment against James Comey, they would not have been able to at all. So that kind of explains why, even though it was weak, it was still attempted. It's because if you don't use it, you lose it, you know?
Now, each count has a maximum jail sentence of 5 years. Yeah, I know, I've been saying number 5 a lot. 5-year statute of limitations, 5 days to file it, and now 5-year maximum sentence. So now...
Francis Karma asks a good question. How low is the bar to get a grand jury indictment? The bar is much, much lower. You only need a preponderance of evidence. Basically, like, if I were to put it in a, it would be more likely than not that there is a chance that a crime was committed. That's the standard, right? So we're talking reasonable suspicion, you know, your probable cause level of bar. It's a lot easier to get through a grand jury for an indictment than an actual jury who has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The issue here is with a grand jury, you also don't need a unanimous decision. So, say there are 24 jurors, right? Yeah, 24 members of this grand jury, and 15 of them decide to vote to indict, and the other 13 decide not to. Well, even though that's a slim lead because it's a grand jury, the standards and the bar for basically launching this indictment are much lower. That can get through. A grand jury can indict you on a 15-13 vote.
What do federal prosecutors need to do to convict James Comey of these crimes? All right, so first let's start with making false statements to Congress. Prosecutors in this case must prove that, one, Comey made a statement to Congress. That seems obvious. Then they have to prove that the statement was a lie. Now, this is where things get interesting. They must prove that he knew what he was saying was a lie and said it anyway.
Okay, so that, like, in defamation case, that's malice, right? He has to know that it was a lie and decide to say it anyway. If he did not know it was a lie, that's an effective defense for this charge.
Then they also have to prove that that false statement was material, meaning that it could influence Congress's ability to pass through laws or find the truth.
Devil's advocate, you can't, why are you telling them how to break the system?
And this obviously leads into the obstruction of justice charge. If prosecutors can prove that James Comey knowingly lied to Congress, then obviously he was trying to obstruct them from finding the truth, i.e. obstruction of justice. Now, I'm going to say this again because I know in the comment section everybody's going to say, what he said was false, what he said was false. But it is not enough for a statement to be false. You must prove that James Comey knew the statement was false and he said it anyway. Essentially, actual malice. This was not a mistake. This was an intentional lie, and that is a lot harder to prove. Now, in this video, you're going to see the alleged lie. You're going to hear exactly why the government believes that Comey lied, but we need to first start with the evidentiary standard that we're looking at when it comes to an indictment versus what happens at a trial. Now, since we're talking about indictments, what's the evidentiary?
Okay, so, you know, it's something funny, Francis Karma, you asked, like, what the bars are and the evidentiary, like, requirements are. Here, he's about to
standard needed for an indictment in the United States. Well, it's probable cause. Now, essentially what probable cause means is that there are factual, reasonable grounds to believe that a crime has been committed and that there are reasonable and factual grounds to believe that the person being investigated committed that crime. Now, here's an example of probable cause. Police see a man climbing out of a broken store window in the middle of the night, and he's carrying a bag of electronics.
Okay, I know this is AI, and I love this use of AI because it's, I mean, NateTheLawyer's, it's a lot of graphics and clips and stuff. He doesn't need, like, an artist for all of this stuff, right? AI helps him get these out much faster. But look at this. This motherfucker became Detroit I Am Human and just vampired through this window. He's not jumping. He's fucking flying through this window. He's levitating through this window. His window only shattered because of the strength of his aura.
Electronics. Now, based on the factual evidence, is it reasonable to believe that the officer is observing a crime and that the person who's climbing out of the window is the person committing that crime? And the answer is obviously yes. There's enough factual, reasonable evidence to believe that this is a burglary happening and the man who's climbing out the window has just committed that burglary. Now, in this case, the person climbing out of the window with the electronics may not be a burglar at all. It could be the store owner himself. And that's the difference between probable cause and proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Because probable cause just really deals with the reasonable interpretation of facts at the scene. It looks like...
Here's another good one, right? You see somebody walking around a residential home and they're wiggling on the windows and shit, and it looks like they're trying to break in, right? You call the cops, you report that, that's probable cause. The cops get there, they approach the person reveals themselves to be the homeowner. They somehow locked their keys in their house. I don't know. They're somehow locked out of their house, right? But they own the house, they're allowed to do whatever they want with it. That's the difference between probable cause and beyond a reasonable doubt. Because beyond a reasonable doubt is, okay, we decided to investigate and find out who you were, what you actually were doing, and that will determine if you're committing the crime or not.
A crime has happened or is happening, and it is likely the person who we're seizing or arresting is the one who committed that crime. Now, with that being said, let's look at the evidence the government's likely going to put forward to prove that James Comey knowingly lied to Congress in violation of the law. This story starts with a man named Andrew McCabe. Now, Andrew McCabe was the former deputy director of the FBI under James Comey. Now, back in 2016-2017, it was a DOJ, Department of Justice, investigation onto who was leaking information out of the FBI to the news media. The investigation investigation showed that the person leaking the information was the deputy director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, and he leaked that information to the Washington Post. Now, since the Justice Department found out it was the deputy director of the FBI who was leaking information to the Washington Post, they asked the deputy director of the FBI, did his boss, James Comey, the director of the FBI at that time, know about this particular leak, and did he authorize McCabe to actually leak this information? Here's what McCabe said in his testimony.
Did James Comey authorize you to disclose information about the Clinton Foundation investigation to the press?
I didn't need James Comey's authorization.
I didn't ask if you needed it. I asked, did he authorize you to disclose it? That's a yes or no question.
I authorized the disclosure.
Okay, you're still not answering my question. Did James Comey know about it, and did he authorize it? Yes or no? Did he know about it?
To my recollection, sir, yes, he knew about it.
Did he authorize you? Did he in any way give you the green light explicitly or implicitly?
I didn't ask Jim Comey.
I'm not asking whether you asked. I'm asking, okay, according to the Washington Times, April 18th, 2018, Mr. McCabe insisted he told
Yeah, see, this is the difference between, like, an actual, like, look, cross-examination, this is going pretty good, but he's trying to, like, he's arguing with the fucking person testifying. You don't do that. You don't argue with the witness, you know? Yes or no? I'm asking, well, he said he never asked. If he never asked, James Comey never fucking... You move on to your next question. Because if you get in this shouting match with the witness, the judge is going to shut that down. That's why congressional and Senate hearings just, they exhaust me. There's usually not much action that comes from them. It's very performative.
His boss that he had authorized disclosure about the Clinton investigation, but Mr. Comey has denied this claim. And Mr. McCabe told investigators that Mr. Comey knew...
That's the thing. There's no objections here. This is a congressional or a Senate hearing. This is, I mean, this is basically the Judiciary Committee within Congress trying to find some facts out. It's like court, but it's not. I don't know how else to... Yeah.
He had authorized disclosure and agreed it was a good idea. Is that accurate? Is that your testimony to this committee?
That is my recollection.
There are some good clown shows.
So, you're aware that your testimony is 180 degrees opposite Mr. Comey's sworn testimony to this committee, in which he insisted he has never authorized anybody to leak to the press.
I'm not going to say what Director Comey said or didn't say to you. That would, however, your characterization of a leak is not accurate.
The FBI has records that will establish whether you're telling the truth or Mr. Comey's telling the truth. Do you believe the FBI should make those records public so if you're telling the truth, you can be vindicated, and if Mr. Comey's telling the truth, he can be vindicated?
I'm not sure what records you're referring to, Senator.
Any and all emails, correspondence, records whatsoever indicating that Mr. Comey knew of your leaks and authorized them.
I mean, Ted Cruz is doing a good job here.
I would very much like to see those records as well.
As would I. Thank you.
So we can essentially say McCabe's testimony is 1, I authorized the leak, 2, my boss obviously knew about the leak, and 3, he was on board with me leaking this information to the press. So obviously Congress brought in James Comey to ask him if McCabe was telling the truth. Did he authorize the leaks?
On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? You responded under oath, quote, never. He then asked you, quote, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration? You responded again under oath, no. Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So your testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
Okay, now it's time to put everything together. So we have two individuals,
Hey, what's
Andrew McCabe.
interesting here, like, let's look at that, right? I would have to look up laws and stuff, but if this has to do with, like, FBI proceedings, and the FBI director, the FBI deputy director asked the director, the person in charge of the FBI, hey, can I leak this stuff and it's authorized? Is it even a leak anymore? Or is that an authorized declassification? Because not only the president has the ability to declassify things, we know that. More people than just the president can do that. But my question, like, it becomes weird because it becomes a matter of, well, is he the director or isn't he? Does he have the authority to allow such a leak to come out? Now, I don't think he knew, because even if he did, again, that was McCabe's argument seems to be. Okay. See, but McCabe made it very much more muddy. It's an authorized declassification. It should have been released to everyone, not simply the Washington Post. Well, when you authorize a declassification and send it out, the first people that you're going to hear it from is not from the FBI itself. You're going to hear it from a media outlet who fucking took that FBI's quote, right? I mean, typically speaking, I know now this administration has made public statements very common, but typically speaking, a declassification will happen. They'll release it to media outlets, and then those media outlets will release it. I don't know, this is, it's very strange. It is even worse if it is an authorized declassification because it plays with the public psyche. That's true, but again, remember the charges that Comey faces right now is just lying to Congress, obstruction to justice, and I think perjury. So he's like, I mean, I guess we're not litigating this actual issue because this was already litigated years and years ago. Before 2017, I wasn't even freaking 18 yet. So, yeah, I guess I'm being, like, irrelevant by like, asking these questions. Because we are looking at James Comey's charges right now that they're facing, and right now it's just facing lying to Congress, and in order to get there, you have to have lied to Congress, but you would have had to know it was a lie, and fucking said it anyway.
McCabe and James Comey. And at this point, it's pretty clear. Either McCabe is lying or James Comey is lying. So this has turned into the classic he said. But the government's case relies heavily on the credibility of Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director. Essentially, what the government is going to have to show is that Andrew McCabe is telling the truth and James Comey is lying to get a conviction against Comey. So now, when it comes to Andrew McCabe, is there anything in the past that would lead someone to believe that he is not credible? Well, what about if the Trump Justice Department fired him from the FBI for lying to invest?
Look, 2017 is now... It was 8 years ago. That's fucking 8 years ago, guys. Think about that, everybody. Just for a second. 2017 was 8 years ago.
About leaking information. Would that hurt his credibility? Because that actually happened.
Washington former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe has been fired. Attorney General Jeff Sessions announcing the decision this evening. Sessions says the Justice Department's Office of Inspector General concluded McCabe made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor under oath on multiple occasions. McCabe had been on leave and planned to retire on Sunday. The firing jeopardizes his pension.
The Department of Justice, the Attorney General Jeff Sessions making this decision late on this Friday night, saying it was because Andrew McCabe gave unauthorized disclosures.
Okay, well, I mean, look, this makes it very... Okay. This makes for the government... This makes the government's case much more difficult. Because now You have the former FBI director, the one whose testimony they're kind of relying on and their credibility they're relying on. He was fired, and he was fired for cause, and he was fired for exactly the thing, being dishonest regarding the thing that they're going to rely on his truthfulness for. This is going to blow the case out of the water, guys.
Of information to the media and misled investigators. This is all revolving around a Wall Street Journal report in October of 2016. Andrew McCabe says that the reporter in this case wanted to write something that was factual.
Oh, you know what? That's very interesting too. It wasn't James Comey who fired him, like, because that's the thing that you could say, right? You can make an argument. Well, James Comey just fired his deputy director in order to save his own ass. But it was Jeff Sessions, the FBI director who succeeded James Comey, who actually fired Deputy Director Andy McCabe. So that conflict that you would think that's present there isn't actually there.
Inaccurate, that he was trying to slow roll the Clinton Foundation investigation. So he authorized 2 agents to speak to that reporter to
Excel Arts, I was a family law lawyer.
Clear up any confusion and to give the facts in his view.
All right, let me make sure we're all on the same page. Andrew McCabe, the Trump administration, says he's a liar. They fired him for lying. They said he wasn't being honest and truthful, even under oath. So the Justice Department's whole case is hanging on the word of Andrew McCabe, who the Justice Department themselves calls a liar. Now, I'm asking you to be a reasonable juror, but in this circumstance, would you convict anyone solely based on the word of Andrew McCabe?
I'm sorry, no, I could not. I could not bring myself to convict somebody of any kind of crime that relies on, like, the main piece of evidence is the testimony of a man who your own Department of Justice the government has already called this guy a liar. And you're telling me I have to believe him for this guy? Yeah, divorce law and shit like that, yeah. But no, yeah, I'm sorry. If I was a juror, I could not buy that. I could not take Andy McCabe as credible because the government who's trying to bring charges against James Comey and relying on Andy McCabe as a reliable testimony, a credible witness, already discredited it themselves years ago. That's a big problem.
In fact, I would even ask, would you indict anyone based on the word of Andrew McCabe, especially under these circumstances? So I laid it out for you to play it out. Now, I want you to come to your own feelings about the case before I tell you how I feel about it, because it should be obvious. I don't think the government has enough to even get near a conviction. They may technically have.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing, though. That's only if the judge accepts the case. You know, the indictment's been presented to a judge, but from what I remember, that hearing did not go well.
Have enough to get past probable cause, but that is probably it. And I think even that's shaky. If this goes to a judge through a probable cause hearing and they're asking you for reasonable factual evidence, and the only thing you have is the testimony of a known liar, a person you fired for lying about the same event you're trying to charge Comey with, it's an uphill battle. But again, we'll see what happens. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to like great YouTube stuff. My name is NateTheLawyer. Let me know how you came out in the comment section. Peace.
Very, very, very nice. Okay, let's stop
The Trump political revenge tour is now in full.
Stop! Gee, god damn it, Legal Eagle. Why are you connected to NateTheLawyer? What the fuck? Okay, there we go. And welcome, Massis, Fatals Drake, Colin 83, Knight 742, Recliptor, and Wesson Bala. Hearing before the judge didn't go well. He had some complaints about them essentially forum shopping to get an indictment. Oh, were they really? That's kind of nasty. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's kind of gross. I would absolutely, like, tear into the government, like, as a judge. I'd be like, you were going forum shopping for this indictment? Are you fucking kidding me? Legal Eagle derogatory. And I said, excuse me, I'm married. Okay, let's see here. Legal Ego derogatory. Alright, so this one is next. Should I do this one? That's the question. Should I do this one? Hey. I'm gonna put that one on the back burner. Instead, we have some more. How long have we been going? An hour 30. Evil Watch is legal, Eagle confirmed. I do occasionally click on some of his stuff. Because you want to know thy enemy, right? No, I'm kidding. Look, it's important to maintain my opinion of Legal Eagle because he's a lawyer and we are all professional students. Maybe one day he will learn. So far, I think his bias is getting in the way of him effectively giving legal commentary, but that could change. And there have been a couple good videos of his that I have seen. Mostly his reacting shit. He reacts to the Better Call Saul cell phone episode. That was a really good react. I really liked that one. You have to hear out all sides, even if you dislike. Yeah, I hear out all sides all the time. I can't tell you how often. I mean, and here's the thing too. Like, I'll go ahead and give it a good click, and then I'll watch it. But the second I start hearing the same bullshit, I'll exit out of it. And it's the same for quote-unquote right-wing videos. Don't give me political spin, and I won't close out of your video early. That's how that works. Oh, and thank you so much for the 5, Farmer Jack. Alright, so we have... Yeah, we're gonna do this one. Actually, no, we're gonna do this one, and then we're gonna end it. So, DUI guy I'm gonna put on the back burner. Tyler Robinson, accused of killing Charlie Kirk, has his second court hearing. This is only 10.5 minutes long. I imagine it's going to be kind of boring. It's going to be procedural. But, I mean, this is kind of a this is history, right? Tyler Robinson is, pretty much, I mean, he's a guy who... He's our generation's guy who shot, JFK or MLK or whatever, you know? I mean... For as much of a cultural impact as it clearly has, regardless of whether or not you agree with Charlie Kirk's views or not, this is historical. So, we're going to see what the second court hearing of Tyler Robinson reveals for us.
Please be seated. Good morning. Court is now in session. Calling the case 251403576, State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Counsel, could you enter your appearances, please?
Chad Grunander, Jeff Gray, Lauren Hunt, Ryan McBride, and Chris Ballard for the state, Your Honor.
Good morning, counsels.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kathy Nestor, Michael Burt, and Richard Novak on behalf of Mr. Robinson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
And to the jail.
Yeah. Utah does a good job
Do
of
we have
broadcasting
Mr. Robinson
a lot of their
present?
state side court cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Robinson, good morning to you as well. Counsel, as we begin, I have entered orders allowing the admittance of Mr. Michael Burt, Mr. Richard Novak, pro hoc vice, and appointing them along with Ms. Catherine Nestor to be Mr. Robinson's counsel. The court enters...
We just had a pro hoc vice entry into Tyler Robinson's... Hold on real quick. I just want to look something up because I want to look up who is representing Tyler Robinson, because a pro hoc vice admittance, that's an out-of-state lawyer applying to practice in the state of Utah for the purposes of this trial. That's typically, you're not going to get a public defender out of state. Let's see here. Entering in. Here we go. Whoa, that's weird. Charlie Kirk assassination suspect, the expanded defense team includes Menendez brothers' former attorney. Michael Burt and Richard Novak have both joined Tyler Robinson case. Yeah, they're not. No, if they're being admitted, but at least one is being admitted. Pro Hoc Vici. That means this is a paid for law. I don't think that. I mean, God, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think you could assign an out of state lawyer, like, hey, you, like, I'm in Utah, right? And I contact as the judge a California lawyer. Hey, we need you to represent Tyler Robinson. Can you apply to practice Pro Hoc Vici so we can do that? I'm sorry, what? What? So yeah, no, this is not a public defender. We have names of two of them. We have Michael Burt and Richard Novak. Oh, 5. Thank you so much, Festiva, for the 5. Said this before, I do in part feel bad for the lawyers who have to defend a case we all already know the ending of. Rough deal for competent people. Well, we're gonna see. There are some questions that I want answered, that we will have answered during the trial. Particularly, why did the footage of him fleeing the building appear not to have his fucking, like, he didn't appear to have his rifle, and his rifle was found, like, in a fucking, like, in a field, like, the opposite direction of where he was or where he fled. Like, there's just some, like, there's some stuff on the timeline I would like cleared up, and thank God we're going to get that through a trial.
Findings that the combined experience of counsel meets and exceeds the requirements of Rule 8. Counsel, do we have, what would we like to accomplish today?
I have 2 items, Judge. I just wanted to make a record that under Rule 16 of the Utah Rules of Criminal Procedure, with respect to discovery, the state is required to provide to the defense within 5 days of the defense's request the discovery that we relied on in making this charging decision. We'll be prepared to do that, so we'll look for defense counsel's request over the next day or so, and we'll provide that to the defense.
Thank you.
We also, for the court's information, we met this morning with the defense team briefly in our office to talk about discovery and the process, so we'll be working together. There is a substantial amount of discovery in this case, Your Honor. It's voluminous, to say the least, and we're working on a process where we can...
Oh man, guys, I don't know how far they're digging with discovery, but it sounds like it's pretty fucking dense. It sounds like we're gonna get quite a bit of information maybe in this trial, because what comes out in discovery doesn't necessarily mean what it will be admitted to as evidence. It can be, but it doesn't mean it will be. So we're gonna see.
Exchange information as quickly as possible and be efficient in that process. The other item I had, Your Honor, I saw that over the weekend there was a protection order, pretrial and trial publicity order entered by Your Honor. And I just was seeking some clarification. On page 2, at the end of the first paragraph, it reads, "To that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense teams that the prohibitions contained in this order."
Okay.
The state were seeking some clarification with respect to the phrase "all witnesses," Your Honor. There are a number of witnesses that have yet to be identified.
Okay, so I mean, clarification for all witnesses. There are plenty of witnesses that are yet to be identified. That's true, but any witness you intend to call to this court for testimony or what have you, if you intend to investigate whether or not you're going to use them as a witness, any witness you interact with, anyone who could be considered a witness by the court that you interact with, needs to be informed of why you're interacting with them, whose team you're on, and what have you. This is normal court rules and court procedures. Let him go. Pause, Andy. I have to pause, Andy, okay? It's called transformative content. I'm a commentator, not just a reactor. If you want a reactor, go to Sniper Wolf.
That will likely be used in the state's case. This occurred in front of 2,000 to 3,000 students at Utah Valley University. So we're in the process of identifying those witnesses. And so those individuals are presently unknown right now. So we're looking for a little clarification from the court. And I suppose we're not going to make any arguments today, but there may be some follow-up pleadings that we may need to file.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Nestor, did you want to be heard about that issue?
No, Your Honor, we would defer to whatever the court wants to advise them on that matter. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious that we don't know who all the witnesses are in this case yet. I think it's just important that if anyone is identified, that they have information about this order. So I think other than that, we wouldn't weigh in on any other matter.
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. That's an important one. The court will rule that as the witnesses become known to each side, that information is conveyed to abide by this order. Obviously, there are potentially many witnesses, and so it's not the expectation that...
The only reason why I added a commentary on there is because I think as prosecution, you didn't need clarification from the court. It was pretty clear what he meant by that order. That is why I was commenting on it. And why I said here is what the court is going to say, because it's pretty obvious what the order means. So to ask for clarification is honestly just wasting everyone's time.
Be able to do that up front, but as they become known, I would ask that you would inform them of this. Anything else, counsel?
Nothing from the state, nothing else, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Nestor.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize that we are here today for a waiver hearing. It is not our intent to waive a preliminary hearing in this matter. We are going to be seeking that one be set. However, based largely on what the state just referred to as far as the voluminous nature
Yes, the arraignment, we watched the arraignment on Lawtism a week or two ago. So if you want to see us watch the arraignment of Tyler Robinson, you can check out, I believe, the episode before last on Lawtism on MizuhanaOshibe's channel.
Discovery materials, we do think it would be prudent to simply reset for another conference, another waiver hearing, a little bit down the road, where we have a better idea once we start seeing the discovery as it rolls in. I do recognize we're going to be getting that first batch in 5 days, but it's my understanding from our meeting today that there is massive amounts of digital that is going to be coming, and until we can kind of get our heads around exactly what we're dealing with and how much we need to process, it's going to be difficult for us to give you a reasonable expectation of when we will be ready to do the prelims. So we're asking today that we put that decision off, and maybe we could check in 30 to 60 days and just kind of let the court know where we're at and how much we're looking at and how much time we may need to set a preliminary hearing.
Okay.
Also, as far as a detention hearing, we are not asking the court to address that issue at this time. Under the statute, the issue is going to come down to the question of whether there's substantial evidence, which right now we're just not in a position at all to be able to even argue to the court. So we are probably going to ask that the court delay that decision possibly until the time of the prelim. But if it's sooner, we will ask the court for a hearing. But at this time, we are not asking the court to make any decisions on that matter.
Thank you, counsel. In regards to the next hearing date, how about October 30th at 10 a.m.?
That works for the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right.
That's fine for the defense, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay.
Now, as we're at the beginning, anything further from counsel from either side?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
As we are at the beginning of this case, it is my intent to only speak when I'm needed or it is necessary. But today I do wish to provide guidance and expectations that you can have for this court and wish to enter an order as well. As this case moves forward, Mr. Robinson's constitutional rights will be protected at every stage. He sits before this court presumed innocent, and that presumption remains unless and until each element of every offense charged against him is proved beyond a reasonable doubt. At the same time, and as applicable, victims are entitled under our Constitution to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity, free from harassment or abuse. Justice demands that both of these principles, the rights of the accused and the rights of victims, be honored without compromise. I remain steadfast in my oath that I made 56 days ago to support and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Utah. I will carry out my duties with fidelity, transparency, and of Utah. I remain steadfast in my oath that I made 56 days ago to support.
This judge started his fucking tenure on this bench 56 days ago. He's not even 2 months into this and he was handed this case. Oh man, dude, you have... Wow. Okay, man, talk about... Dude, you got this. I mean, I'm sure he's got this. But man, that... Talk about the pressure. This, I mean, phew. Jesus Christ, that is fucking wild. To be a... I mean, you're a baby judge. You're a brand new judge. Just on the bench, and you're handed one of the most infamous fucking cases in, like, modern American history. And that is... Oh, wow, okay. He's either gonna be a superstar in law going forward, or he's gonna be a pariah. Well, we're gonna see. I do feel bad for this judge, though. I do not envy him. The rookie has entered into history, yeah, no, for real.
Support and defend the constitutions of the United States and of Utah. I will carry out my duty.
That's the issue, Magma Fox. It's not, nobody chooses. Okay? Once he's put into rotation on the bench, it's kind of like a lottery drawing, okay? So basically, these cases are going, and it's like, okay, who's this assigned to? They don't decide that, because that could be considered venue shopping. You could be considered forum shopping for a better finder of facts. So in order to keep that fair, we do not just hand this all weeds out. It's either random or it's in order. So say like this case is yours, judges 1 through 5, right? There's 5 judges in this county or district or whatever. Let's say that, right? And they handle the criminal shit, right? They might either do, okay, Sierra's a case for judge 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then they just switch to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or it's random. Okay, this is the only way to ensure fair, and it doesn't give the appearance of a prosecutorial misconduct of, well, I want to choose the judge I want. No, you don't get to choose the judge you want.
With fidelity, transparency, and impartiality, treating every person who appears before me.
Oh yeah, dude, I feel for him. I definitely feel for him, but I mean, this is what he signed up for. This eventuality was possible, and yeah, it hit him very early in his career, but like, he knew what he was signing up for, you know what I mean?
Dignity and respect they are inherently due because they are human beings. Let me be clear. I will not put my finger on the scale of justice. These proceedings will be open to the public, conducted in accordance with the law, and handled with diligence and competence to ensure that justice is never compromised. It is the standing order of this court that Mr. Robinson shall be allowed to appear in person so he can fully engage with his attorneys and participate in these legal proceedings. Counsel, regardless of who is watching, whether it is the nation or a single individual, we must fulfill our roles with integrity, civility, and diligence. I encourage each of you to give your very best to this case. Neither Mr. Robinson nor the people of Utah deserve anything less than the fair and impartial administration of justice. In regards to the next hearing, counsel, on that October 30th date at 10 a.m., it's the court's intent that be in person if it be the wish of counsel for the defense for Mr. Robinson to be present.
It is, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to see
Counsel,
Tyler
anything
Robinson,
else that we can address
October
today?
30th.
Your Honor, we appreciate the court's comments with respect to Your Honor's role in this case. In like matter, we commit to approach this case with integrity, with professionalism and civility. We are truth seekers. We will aggressively pursue the truth in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, counsel, unless there's anything else, thank you for being here.
All right,
This
there we
court
go.
is in recess.
Okay, well, that was Tyler Robinson's second court hearing. Was kind of hoping for the judge from Ghostbusters too. Oh my God, Sparkies, dear God. All right, well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can, and we will see you all tomorrow. I haven't decided if it's gonna be Dying Light, Spider-Man Miles Morales, or maybe like just some VR fun like wind sorcery shit. I don't know. We're gonna do something tomorrow. Anyway, thank you very much again for coming and hanging out with me, and I will see you guys all on the next one.
So, if there's someone to point the finger at, it would be his brother! Oh my God! Oh my God, nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody!
Hi, I'm Jean Kelly of Kelly Law Associates, and I'm here to tell you that I can get you off. I can legally get shit. Car accidents, tax evasion, minor genocide, it's all the same to me. Some might look at a man and see a husband who brutally murdered his wife and then kept her body in the trunk of his car for 3 weeks. But I see a man who just didn't know how to play tennis right and accidentally hit his wife with a tennis racket 36 times, and to keep her body warm, put her in the back of his Camry. Public masturbation? More like government exacerbation. I graduated top of my class at the University of Phoenix. Kind of. Just remember,